Hello, investors. This is Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Friday, August 22nd, 4:40 p.m. Eastern Time, coming to you with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. Market state still in an uptrend. If we take a look at the trend gauge over here, back to all four coveted arrows. Very strong day for the markets today. Leaders firing back the last couple days, finding support at the 50-day, the 10-week, the 21. So we remain bullish on many of the leading stocks short term. Great closes back above the 21 EMA across the board. Medium term, trending above the 50-day moving average, and long term above the 200-day moving average as well. What happened today? Well, we had the big awaited Jackson Hole meeting, and basically Powell alluded that there is going to be a rate cut in September, and that led to a very strong trend up day for all assets across the board, especially small, mid caps, equal weight, all having quite nice days. So here are the final numbers. 21 over 21 list up 2.36% on the day. 19 green, 2 red. Turbo 12 up 4.39%, all 12 green. Big 8 up 2.25%. RG8 up 2.86%. 60/40 stock and bond up 1.13%. Flagship portfolio GROTECTION up 1.72%, and then TurboTection up 3.48% on the day. Let's get into the interasset correlation. And as always, chart the S&P 500. And as a bull, can't really ask for much more. 5 days down into the 21 EMA, found support and just absolutely firing back today. And you can see right, one sec, yeah. And you can see right when the Jackson Hole started at 10, we got that initial pop, uh, followed through, found resistance at the 64.80, but just kind of closed strong, just consolidating. So super strong day. Really nice daily candle here. And again, see if next week market can break out through 6,500. On the other side, today's lows, great line in the sand to trade against. If the market is going to continue higher, expectation is that these lows hold, coincides right with the 21 day, and you got never tested the 10-week, but continuing to stay above the 10-week moving average. And chart of the S&P 500 looks fantastic. RSP, this is really awesome to see. This is breaking out of a huge base. Take a look at the weekly chart as well. Just finally now breaking out. And once I get into the other, RG8 made a new high today. That is our 8 growth composite. And that is awesome to see. That typically coincides with, um, you know, the market strengthens even further when these are in gear. And this is a big base breakout. So as long as it continues, I mean, this is a perfect base breakout. So these lows should hold on RSP, and then Qs. Again, good action here. Pull back to the 50-day moving average, and that coincided with the first test of the 10-week moving average. And since these April bottoms, this for the Qs, this is the first test of the 10-week moving average. And again, said it in the video earlier this week for stocks and indexes. After a strong run, the first tap of that level is a buy, and you know, can't say you're necessarily long in the tooth, as you can think that if it starts, the third, the fourth test. But again, first test, 10-week moving average, strong by the bulls and coinciding with the reclaim of the 21. And again, these areas, these lows, expectation are to hold. NVIDIA reports earnings next week, so that's going to be a big tell for the NASDAQ also. Mag 7, really nice upside reversal, reclaiming these left side peak. Dow Jones, another one, beautiful multi-month base breakout here. Fantastic look, really similar to look to the RSP chart. And then mid caps breaking out as well through 3,200. And just, zooming out, mid caps really haven't done anything since these highs all the way back in 2021, right? Mid caps are at 32.55. These highs in 2021 were 29.25. So what does that tell you is that the market's been dominated by the AI stocks, med cap tech. So perhaps with rate cuts coming in September, we're finally starting to see signs that maybe mid caps, small caps can go on a sustained run, and that should only strengthen the market from here. And Russell 2000, star of the show, up 3.86% today. I highlighted on my Twitter account many times and on the videos. record short positioning in small caps. And as we know, when rates get cut, small caps tend to outperform. And you look at the weekly here, I mean, Russ 2000 still below 2021 highs. So not extended whatsoever. And clearing this 2300 spot is a huge level. And, really the past since 2023, everyone's been looking for small caps to can they get a sustained run? Every breakout's been fouled, and you see a lot of people giving up, right? A lot of trash companies in the Russ 2000. Once they get good, they go to the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq. So maybe we're seeing peak pessimism on small caps. Positioning is ultra short. You have a catalyst September rate cut, so uh, you know. I'm bullish small caps here, and as long as today's lows hold, this 21 EMA, good spot. And as long, 23, 26 was this kind of left side high. And then the next level to watch is 2400. And then, you know, and then above 2400 is 2466, previous all-time highs. ARC again, similar small caps, nice bounce off the 50-day. FFTY really strong off the 50-day. VIX making new lows, 14 handle, down almost 14% on the day. The dollar, again, harsh rejection of the 821 and the 50-day. Gold, huge base, looking quite coiled as well. GDX, again, continue higher out of this flag. Silver, again, nice break of this downtrend line today. Bitcoin, really nice action today. A lot of people started to give up on Bitcoin, had been doing nothing since it broke out, just in a range. But the 6370 level was the main spot that it needed to hold. That was the previous breakout level, and super, super strong day off that, reclaiming all the moving averages, undercut and reclaiming the 10-week moving average. So Bitcoin looks fantastic heading into next week. It definitely was frustrating some people as, everyone wanted it to go to 130,000, 150,000 in a straight line, but bounce exactly where it needed to, and this chart looks a lot better now. Bonds trying to break out of this base here. TLT still below the 200-day rates as well, just meandering, and then TNX as well. All right, that's the interest correlation. Let's get into the tail of the tape, and percent of stocks by the 5-day that got elevated a little bit up to 84. Mentioned the VIX down 14.5%, almost 14 handle, so that's good. That next levels are 13, 12. We'll see what it does. Big news event today was Powell Jackson Hole speech, basically alluding there's going to be a rate cut in September, market like that. Today's keys, S&P back above that 63.44, below that 64.81, Q's above the 21 and the 50, Russell above the 21 and that 22.83. And going into Monday, we're going to be watching the S&P. Any pullbacks, today's lows, 21 EMA should hold, and then those previous highs, see if they can take out 64.81. And then Q's pullbacks to the 21 should be supported, and then 575 is the next level to take out, and then Russ 2000. 2400 is the next upside level to watch out for. Day count up 1 day back above the 8, 13 days above the 21 EMA. And the action today, opens equals low, trend up day, really nice action. Sectors wise, basically all assets across the board were green today, but uranium, builders, oil, regional banks, Bitcoin, semiconductors, retail, and then weakness, natural gas, utilities, healthcare, gold, not weak, not very weak, but just some of the lagging sectors of the day. GROTECTION today added on to SSO 1.34 beta, balance at risk minus 6.47. TurboTection today bought XXRP. This is the XRP ETF, and then a position in TQQQ on the 21 EMA reclaim, and then sold Wolf for break even. Was up today and then just kind of came back, and it was a small position and expected that to just go on a day like today. So 2.31 beta, balance at risk minus 6.98%. Bottom line, Powell alludes of a rate cut at Jackson Hole, all assets rip. All right, let's get into the charts of interest. So we will start with XXRP. Obviously, this is the ETF chart, looks a little worse, but we took position here. Undercut and reclaiming the 50-day moving average and this gap day's low. And then Wolf just sold it, just nasty bar rejecting 10. We'll revisit this another time, a little bit extended as well. All right, 21 over 21 list from best to worst. Rocket Mortgage. This is owned in GROTECTION, another one that benefits from the rate sensitive trade, the rate cut trade, monster bounce off the 21 EMA, up almost 9.5% on the day. SoFi, another fintech name, really strong, just monster push off the 21 into this 25 level. Carvana, nice hold of the 50-day, up 5.5%. APP reclaiming the high volume close from the earnings. This stock still has tremendous numbers, and it's basically been going nowhere since this high in 2025. So this is a really nice looking chart here. See limited new highs after continuing after this strong earnings gap. STX consolidating at the highs, been one of the leaders since April lows. Robinhood, good action here, owned in both portfolios. Sorry, SE is owned in GROTECTION as well. SE is owned in GROTECTION. Covered STX. Hood owned in both portfolios. Textbook bounce off 10-week moving average. And again, after a very strong run, the first test, the 10-week moving average typically tends to be a good spot, and Hood did just exactly that. And now this is, basing above 100, so this could provide an add-on spot for the position. AMD trying to reclaim the 21 day, perhaps need some time in the space. Net, nice undercut and reclaim of the 50-day moving average. See if this can get back above 200. This 198 left side high. NVIDIA, good action here. Reports earnings next week. So it's NVIDIA. It's going to be a big tell for the market as always. Palantir, after this very harsh 25% pullback off the highs, it's holding this 150 spot. A lot of volatility, just need some more time. Micron sitting right under this 120 level, forming a cup and handle base. Still like how this is trading out. GDX continuing higher, strong action there. ANET bounced off the 21, see if this can reclaim gap day lows. Tried to, and then came back in. Astera Labs, good action. Bounce at the gap lows, and then just continuing higher 3 days up. Perhaps this maybe consolidates a little bit, but own this in TurboTaction and would love to get a heavier position on this one. DoorDash holding up 50-day, see if this one reclaim 250. APH, good action, consolidating at the highs. Ooh. GV, this is another one owned in both portfolios. First pullback to the 10-week moving average is getting supported, and this one's acting well. A little bit weak today, down roughly flat on the day. Did find some resistance here, but closed back above that 600 spot. Maybe this just needs a little bit more time, but chart still looks great. Owned in both portfolios, and perhaps in a consolidation would look to add on to this position, as it's just it's not a full size position, trimmed from the buys down here. VST again, kind of weak today. Just sitting right here at around the 50-day. MP hugging the 21-day, owned in both portfolios, still looks good. Leading the leader for the rare earth sector, and super strong move since this catalyst back here. So, and just consolidating, you look at this monthly chart, this very well could just be getting started. It is just breaking out through 2022 highs. So 3 years of neglect. And Reddit, another interesting one that was minor, a little bit weak today. Again, it's all depends on your time frame, right? This has been a monster since this earnings gap. Sounds strong day in the markets. This one's red, but again, nothing wrong with this one. Found support at the 21-day, and maybe just a little consolidation here would be normal. So that was the 21 over 21 list. Turbo 12, Irene, super strong, huge weekly base, and these power names, crypto miners that shifted into the power, like Irene, super nice chart, and they have huge numbers going forward. Bull coming back up through the 21, METC, undercut and reclaim of the 21, another name that's in that energy space. Tempest AI, showing a change in character, breaking out of the space after the earnings, and funding pausing a little bit at 80, but if you zoom out and look at this weekly chart looks quite constructive and just a huge weekly IPO base. And if we start to see that some of these medical biotech names with application of AI. That could be a really big theme. Haven't really seen it come to fruition yet. AMSC undercut and reclaim of the 21 and 50 level. Sanmina, nice undercut and reclaim of the 21. Nice, flag that it's building here. RGTI back with the 50-day. KTOS, one of the best names in the aerospace and defense group, continues to trend higher. Hinge Health flagging out here. Soundhound trying to come back up. Lemonade super strong, flagging here at the highs after a strong multi-day earnings push. HSAI sitting at the 21. Some other notable charts, Bloom Energy, own this in Turbo, fantastic breakout here out of this flag, up 8%. And this is just breaking out a multi-month year base. And it's got a lot of good fundamentals, turning profitable, 21% short interest. This one's acting well. Ethereum, unbelievable day on this one, up 14.5%. On highest volume ever for the ETF, and spot Ethereum's just under all-time highs. This is owned in both portfolios, acting really well. Take a look at BMNR. We own this in TurboTection, up 12% on the day. Another way to play Ethereum. Nice reclaim the high volume close from here and bounced off the 21-day moving average. So good action there. And then, yeah, obviously I covered Bitcoin, super strong action there. And then so yeah, those are some notables. Some other notable names, Tesla, super strong day on this one as well, up 6.22% on the day. Back above all key moving averages and kind of clearing a pretty big downtrend line here from the highs. China was looking pretty good again today too. KWeb, this is ETF worth watching, huge base that it's starting to come up from. And so, Affirm, this is another fintech name, really nice flag that is trying to come out of as well. So, you know, still tons of merchandise out there, tons of strong stocks, tons of leading themes. You had a 5-day pullback in the market into the 21 EMA. You had a positive reaction to Jackson Hole today, getting the rate cut in September. One thing to keep an eye out is, September historically is very weak seasonality, but again, that's a secondary indicator. Price action to the indexes and the leading stocks is always our number one guide. And just like the other sentiment indicators, like the NAM exposure index, it's at 98. But that can lag. And then on the flip side, you have AAII, investor sentiment that's very bearish. And then you know, and NASI RSI that's hooking up from oversold. So, the secondary indicators can give you a lot of conflicting signals. And if you just look at what matters, how are the leaders acting? They're acting great. What's the traction in your portfolio? And for both portfolios, it's pretty good today. New buys are working. And then what's the trend of the indexes? Clearly up above rising moving averages. So focus on what matters. And that's what we're doing at Revere. Every day we're telling you our buys ourselves, our thought process. So yeah, that is going to wrap it. As always, like to hear from you. My email is connor@revereasset.com, or you can reach out to Dan or Don at revereasset.com. Phone is 855 Real Wealth, 855-732-5932. Getting a bunch of clients. So, if you're ever interested, as always, please reach out. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe, comment. We get back to everyone that comments on our videos. So thank you guys again for watching and have an awesome, relaxing weekend.